Alright guys, so today I'm going to be doing something a little bit. So before we get too far into it, something you should know: Brimstone post-plant molly lineups. So before we get too far into it, something you should know is that all of these lineups work on the minimal graphics settings. So if you're doing the lineup and it looks a little bit different than mine, try putting your graphics settings to all low. Also, I found these with the help of my friend Fox, so if you guys want to check him out, his links will be in the description below. Now, the general idea of these lineups is that in clutch situations, if you manage to plant the bomb and get out of the site, or a teammate manages to plant the bomb at a specific spot, then you can play a safe spot far away from site where you are not likely to be found and use the molly to stall the defenders from defusing the bomb. Now, because these lineups are close to the sites, it means it takes the molly longer to fall onto the specific spot on the spike, which means if you're shooting the molly as the defender is already picking up the bomb, you have to find some other way to get them off the bomb, because it will take too long to land and too long to kill them. And if you aren't sure when you should be shooting your molly, you should be listening for when the bomb timer starts speeding up really fast, because that means it's closer to being blown up. So starting off here on Haven B site, this is by far the most common plant spot that I've seen in my games. So of course it would be better to get someone on your team to plant the bomb in this spot in front of the main B site, because that would allow you to stay back here in window, cover it, and then eventually, if you need to, walk back here into the molly lineup spot. So for this lineup to the B site default, you're going to want to walk into this corner here, aim straight up, line up the part above your molly ability with this little corner of the roof here, and shoot. And as you can see, it will land perfectly on the bomb, preventing anyone from even coming close to stepping on this bomb and defusing it. And the reason that I like this spot a lot for this specific molly lineup is because it allows you to play back here safely in this window And then if it comes down to a clutch situation where stalling them might be useful, you can easily back up into this corner. So next up is A site, and for the first spot on A site, it's going to be right here, which is a super common plant spot because if the bomb carrier comes up short, it is by far the safest spot to plant. So what you want to do is walk out into long here, walk into this corner, aim along this dark line along the box, move your crosshair up until it's in line with this light bulb here, like this, and shoot. And it lands perfectly on the bomb. As long as someone is planting in this general corner of sight, the defender shouldn't even be able to get close to defusing the bomb. So the second most common spot on A site Haven is actually the right side of default here. And for this lineup, what you want to do is walk all the way out to long here, jump on top of these sandbags, aim all the way up into the sky, and line up the very top of your Q Molotov icon into this corner of the black pillar here, and shoot. And as you can see, it'll bounce off the bomb site and land right onto the bomb. And once again, it covers a pretty wide range of the site as well, so the spot that you plant at doesn't need to be very specific, and the spot that you line up at also doesn't need to be very specific. So moving on to C site, this is a pretty common spot here if someone tells you to plant safe. And for this lineup, you're going to want to be in this corner here and long. Look all the way up into the sky. And once again, we're using very top of the flame of the Molly icon, the bottom of the HUD. And you're going to put it into the corner of this black pillar and shoot. And as you can see, it bounces perfectly into plant at doesn't need to be very and shoot. And as you can see, black pillar here and shoot. And as you can, and one doesn't need to be very specific, and the spot that you line up at also doesn't need to be very specific. So moving on to C site, this is a pretty common spot here if someone tells you to plant safe. And for this lineup, you're going to want to be in this corner here and long of the Molly icon pillar onto that spot. So the second, what you want to do is walk site here is when bomb is planted for long. And for this lineup, what you want to do is walk out here, walk to the right side of this fallen sign along this specific crack right here, like this. Look up until you see the very top of the Molly icon on the HUD, the flame once again, and line it up with the top of this purple flag where it meets the rope, just like this, and shoot. And as you can see, it lands perfectly for when bomb is planted for long C. So moving on to split A site here, the first common plant spot is right around this corner here. See, one of the most common plant spots on this site. Now, even though from that corner until blue light, and move your crosshair to the right until the tip of your Molly icon on the HUD is in the middle of the left vertical. What you want to do, it's just a really common spot for if you don't have full CT or heaven control. So when spike is planted at that spot and you manage to get all the way out here, what you want to do is move your crosshair all the way up to this horizontal blue light and move your crosshair to the right until the tip of your Molly icon on the HUD is in the middle of the left vertical blue light, just like this, and then shoot. And as you can see, the Molly will bounce perfectly onto that corner there, which is one of the most common plant spots on this site. Now, even though from that spot back there you can actually hear if someone picks up the bomb, once again, you shouldn't be listening for that. You should be listening to how close the bomb is to exploding and trying to stall enemies from being able to get a chance to get on it before it can go off. So the next most common plant spot on a site here is behind this screen, and you can actually do this one from the same exact spot. And what you want to do, using the very top of the Molly icon on the HUD, you want to move the top of the flame right to the corner of this building right here and shoot. And as you can see, it will bounce perfectly behind the screen, covering anywhere behind the screen that bomb might have been planted. So moving on to B site, this is by far the most common plant spot on B site because it's easily the safest spot on this site. However, because of this tower, there's not too many lineups that you can actually do. One possible lineup, although very situational, if you have heaven control, you can come next to this wall here right at the staircase, aim along this yellow area on the wall right here. Doesn't need to be very specific, but maybe more towards the right side is better. Shoot. And as you can see, it will cover the most common plant spot on B site, preventing the defenders from getting to the spike. And last but not least, for the post-plant molly lineups, we have bind. So starting off here at A site, we have a lineup for this spot at triple. And for this lineup, I'm going to stand in this corner next to these boxes. Move your crosshair up until the smoke icon on your HUD is covering this corner of the building, so like this, and shoot. And as you can see, it will bounce perfectly into triple. And I really like this lineup spot because this is a very common plant for someone to be playing showers in. So you're already playing showers, all you have to do is leave showers, and right out here you already have the spot where you're going to be lining up. So the second common spot here on A site is along the tank here, and the lineup for it is super easy right here outside short A. What you want to do is walk into this corner